Okay, so before we start this review of this mockumentary, I just want to state that I'm not claiming to be a professional video creator. I just simply am pointing out what I can notice as a person who has some experience in video creating, what is wrong with this mockumentary and what could be improved. Hopefully it's taken into account, and anyways, let's get on with the video. So here we go. Today's video will be a mockumentary review. The mockumentary that we are going to be covering and discussing in this video is about the industrialization of Hillingdon with the title of I Don't Fucking Know. So to start off the video, we have some background behind Hillingdon whilst also covering what the topics and areas of the video are going to be, which are stated to be the crimes in Hillingdon, how teenagers manage to live with urban life due to industrialization, and what effects does the factories and smoke signals have on the human psyche. These are all good points to be covering that will be interesting to grasp an understanding of with this mockumentary, and this leads on to the first interview with presumably the students of Global Academy, and sadly this is where everything begins to fall flat on its face. Within the first interview, we can already spot issues with what is contained in this scene. For starters, the background audio is far too loud to focus on what the person is discussing.
So I've got like 3 questions if I ask them.
There is actually so much background chatter and no proper use of microphone equipment that would allow for the viewer to hone in on listening to Bronwen. I hope I pronounced that name right, I probably butchered it, but oh well. And the second interview also falls to the same issue, and 3 or 4 are also in bad conditions, with video being taken outside where wind is audible and causes clipping within the audio file, making it harder for the viewer to hear what is being said. And alongside with the audio issues, the video quality is appalling. The way this is recorded makes it look like a pixelated mess, and in certain examples this completely ruins the viewing experience where you can hardly distinguish what is going on in the shot. Now, moving past the first section, which at least discussed some of the issues that were stated within the beginning of the video, however not covering all of them, hopefully we can see where this goes within the next few interviews. Actually, just 1 second, moving back to one of the interviews with the lad in the red hoodie. Now, this is nitpicky as it's not in the video creator's control, so I'm not bashing the video creator here, I'm just simply stating what I think. He says that it's good there are less people in London as it will bring down traffic, and then proceeds to say that it's good for Hillingdon as there will be more people there. Now, in certain scenarios this would make sense, however after bringing up traffic issues, wouldn't more people in Hillingdon cause the same issue, so wouldn't that make more people moving out of London a worse thing for Hillingdon? Oh well, that's just my thoughts on it, back to the video. And now we move completely off topic onto a topic with absolutely zero correlation with the original areas and topics that are listed at the start of the video, and this is clearly just an area where the video creator feels more comfortable, whether it's due to be personal circumstances or if it's just if they abuse drugs or not. I swear I don't know. So they have decided to discuss drug problems affecting the younger generation. Not only does this not apply to the industrialization of Hillingdon, but it's not applied to crime rates or how people are coping in Hillingdon. If there was some relation drawn between the two here, then there wouldn't be an issue, however there isn't. And in general, this does not help make the mockumentary more informative, nor give it any help with the industrialization of Hillingdon. As the drug problem can be applied to any area within any part of the world, it's not Hillingdon that has a specific issue with it. However, on its own merit, what a majority of the people say within this section of the video is good, as it gives a decent look into what the younger generation's thoughts of drug abuse is and whether or not they think it's bad. It's just a shame that it clearly does not apply to the actual topic of the mockumentary. On to the next section, which is yet again drug related, and as such it kind of falls into the same issues as the previous topic. However, as I did for that, I will break this down and see what it contains without relating it to the original topic itself. This topic is meant to give a percentage of how many people in our school do you think smoke weed. Once again, this is a good topic to try and cover, but it falls flat on its face, as in its attempt to be funny they have given false percentages, which would be fine if it actually made people laugh, but it doesn't, and in general is just flashing made up numbers with 420% in the middle for what was presumably meant to be a joke that has clearly failed. I won't express any further opinion on the topic as there's not much else to say other than again this does not relate to the actual topic of the mockumentary, and as I suspected it has just drifted further and further away from what the mockumentary is meant to be. The next scene within the mockumentary is a part where the video creator has supposedly gone into a park to meet with a bunch of young teenagers who use drugs. I don't know how many times I can say this, but drugs is not one of the topics that is meant to be discussed within this mockumentary, and at this point is really starting to become tiresome and boring. All we are hearing is the same thing repeated over and over again. Drugs good, do drugs, woo. What a boring topic that makes this overall boring mockumentary even worse than it already was. But moving on. The only part of the video that managed to make me remotely think that this was funny is a man standing in front of a tree, which speaks volumes for what the rest of the mockumentary holds, as it can actually be compared to staring at a tree and trying to tell a story behind it. So, for the first interview within the park, we have this ridiculous getup and also terrible audio recording. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I thought maybe they had looked over their previous recordings and found that the audio was bad and decided to try and change it, but I guess they haven't. Instead, for a majority of the first interview in the park, we have this aggravating, annoying, low-pitched humming noise in the background featuring, yet again, more wind, making it hard to understand what the person is saying.
Cigarettes. I smoke something probably every day, to be fair. The best place to smoke for me is probably a park or my house. Anywhere that's like away from people, because you don't want to.
This, bundled on top of the voice effect that they have put over the person, just makes this section of the video one of the most unbearable parts. That's not even touching on the video recording itself, which is one of the worst offenders for how bad the quality of the video is. The background is so distracting as it is clearly in view with the person being interviewed to the side, making them not even the subject to focus on. This piled in with the pixelated moving background and blown out sky just makes the scene look terrible. With focus on the actual interview itself, we can see that the person is clearly addicted. The fact that all he hears for weed is praise and not even a single word of the bad sides of using drugs. Because of this, it becomes clear that it's just an addict speaking on why they are addicted. For example, why is there no mention of spice that can be put in weed and give bad effects to those that may have taken it? Or the fact that people spend ridiculous amounts of money to feed an addiction for maybe a week, which overall does not help people in the future when all that money is suddenly going to matter to them. But moving on with the video. The next interview is even worse, but how can it possibly get worse, I hear you ask? Well, I'll tell you why. Not only do we have some ugly blur filter put over the guy's face for obvious reasons, such as hiding identity, but with this one, they haven't even decided to put a voice filter over them. So if anybody knows this person's voice, they know exactly who they are, completely ruining the entire premise of hiding their identity. But at the same time, thank God there is no voice filter, because you can't even tell what the person is saying. Their voice is so distant due to improper use of microphone equipment yet again. Noises such as birds and trees sound louder than this guy.
The occasional cigarette. I smoke cannabis on the occasion.
How am I meant to enjoy or gather any information from this video that might as well have been replaced with TV static noise for 8 minutes and 9 seconds? I mean, even if it was, at the end of the day, I'd gain more joy and more information from the static than I would from this entire video. And once again, the video is so disrupted by the background, the main focus is shifted to the side with a moving background that is low quality and blown out sky, which, as I mentioned before, just takes away from the scene and makes it unappealing to the eye. With the final person to be interviewed, Bradley, we have now covered the fact that people are using tobacco to mix in with their weed, and before I start discussing the issue with that, let me give some props to the video creator. Thank you for at least letting me hear the voice of the person who is speaking rather than the birds chirping for a minute straight. Back on topic, we have now covered that people use tobacco with weed, but once again there is no discussion of the negative effects of tobacco. I mean, it literally causes cancer, but instead the video focuses on how good drugs are and what is the safest place to take them. Is this an educational video, or is it just a junkie's tour guide? Because I'm starting to believe it's the latter now. And to top it all off, Bradley over here says the safest place to smoke is your bedroom, because anywhere else is not regulated. When is your bedroom ever regulated? Do you have people come into your room, do a little checkup for you and say, yeah, you know what mate, this place is safe to smoke weed in? And if you think that it's safe because the police can't find you, well, that's just completely false. If your neighbours happen to catch a scent and discover that you are smoking weed, they can easily report it to the police, and boom, you now have an issue on your hand. Because in reality, due to the fact that weed is not legalized, there is no safe place to smoke weed. Therefore, you shouldn't be giving out false information on where to smoke, especially when you have no clue what you're talking about. And to finish and round up the entire mockumentary, we hear the fat load of bullshit yet again stated. Once again, this drug-fueled video creator blabbers on about how good drugs are, and let me go on a little rant here. You delusional, stupid fucking cunt. Do you not have any understanding of what you are saying? You run around taking all the drugs under the sun while also being a massive sket. You have made a terrible video and in general can't create any decent content. Your only popular videos are caused by the fact you have hopped on a trend at the right time, and none of it has been due to actual talent. Let this mockumentary be proof of this statement. In no way, shape or form is weed good for your average consumer. Unless you have a specific need or case to take weed, it will not help you, especially when you happen to get addicted to all the other crap they mix in with it. I have seen countless times people become more stressed and upset due to drugs that they have taken and become addicted to, more times than I have seen people get equally upset about the day-to-day struggles of life. Back on with the video. The ending wraps up completely unrelated topics to what the start of the video claimed they were going to be covered by the living standards of Hillingdon. We then have the claim that people that smoke weed are less stressed than people that do not smoke weed, which once again is a fat load of bullshit. We have gone completely off topic and the video creator has now started discussing the legalization of weed and how they predict it will be legal by 2025. To finish this all off, I had commented on the video discussing my views as to what fell short, and it appears that the video creator struggles to take any kind of criticism, so I genuinely doubt that this video will be taken into account and will probably end up not helping them create any better content, as they are practically doomed for what they wish to take unless they make drastic changes to their work ethic and the way they record and plan videos. Hopefully, just maybe, they might turn around and have a change in heart and decide to take criticism and use it to create better content. And maybe at that point, if they're able to do that, they won't get an entire video discussing why their mockumentary was shit. I tried to give as many positives as I can, but in general, this video falls short, so there was a lack of them that I could mention. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of this mockumentary, and I give it a 1.5 out of 10. I would have had more enjoyment watching top 5 deer moments.
Top 5 deer moments.